All right. Hello, folks. Hey, class. What's going on? Okay, so I make these videos from time to time to help people with studying. So let's go ahead and get to it with Henry Ossawa Tanner. He was born from 1859 to 1937, which is when he passed. All right. He was the most distinguished African American artist at the turn of the 20th century. In 1923, he was awarded with the French government's highest honor, Chevalier of the Legion of Honor. In 1927, he was the first African American inducted as a full member into the National Academy of Design. In 1969, he was the first African American artist to have a major solo exhibition in U.S. Smithsonian. And in 1996, he created Sunset, first work by an African American artist included in the White House collection. He was an extremely important symbol of hope and inspiration for African American leaders and young black artists, many visiting him in Paris. All right, so here's some information about his parents. Pause to read because I'm not reading all of this. But, actually, no, there is no but. Like, I'm not reading on that. I'm so sorry. We just need to know he was a child of Reverend Benjamin Tucker Tanner. He was born to free black parents in Pittsburgh, and his mother, Sarah Tanner, born a slave in Virginia, 1840. Mother sent her children to freedom through the Underground Railroad, as she should. And that's on period. The influence of Thomas Eakins. Tanner was self-trained until he enrolled at the Pennsylvania Academy of Arts, 1879. He was the first African-American student and graduated in 1885. Tanner excelled and rose to the top of his class, getting special attention from his teachers. He trained with Thomas Eakins, a professor of drawing and painting. Students drew from the nude, dissected cadavers to study anatomy, and used photography to study movement. Tanner endured the racism of white students who once tied him to his easel. Ugh, those trifling ass. Whatever, I'm not even gonna say it. Anyways, so here's his nude studies, 1890s. Eakins' approach to teaching ensured that Tanner was thoroughly trained in anatomy and working with the human figure. All right, portrait of Henry Ossawa Tanner, Thomas Eakins. All right. Eakins painted Tanner's portrait after he achieved fame as an artist in Paris. Eakins had always strongly supported Tanner's potential as a student, and he was one of his few students that he honored with a portrait, and that's on period. Tanner also studied privately with Thomas Hovenden, known for his genre subjects in a realistic style. Hovenden was also known for abolitionist themes like John Brown going to his hanging, 1884. Hovenden wrote letters to admit Tanner to the zoo for free so he could sketch animals. Sketch of Lions at Philadelphia Zoo, 1888. Tanner sold some of these sketches to magazines like Harper's Young People. In 1889, Tanner left to live on his own in Atlanta, Georgia, where he opened a photography studio. He traveled throughout North Carolina and Georgia taking pictures. Tanner taught for 2 years at Clark College in Atlanta. Tanner was the first African-American artist to teach at an HBCU. That's on periods. White patrons, the Hartzels, purchased an entire exhibition of his works in Cincinnati for $300. Ooh, I know he was getting rich. Anyway, here's the mountain landscape that he worked on, and that's period, reflecting his training. All right. We also have Bois de Mort. Bois de Mort. Yes, I know how to speak French a little bit. On peu. Okay. 1891, travels to France, decides to live there. So he goes to Julian Academy with Jean-Paul Laurens and Benjamin Constant. In Paris, Tanner gained confidence and acceptance as an artist. He began working on the theme of transmission of knowledge between teacher and student. He completed the bagpipe lesson 1893 and he started working. Oh, it must have been a typo. And he started to work on the Young Sabbath Maker 1893. Okay, Tanner returned home to convalesce from typhoid fever. I don't know what that is, but I know it sounds bad as hell. Okay, bad. All right, we're running on 5 minutes. I need to hurry up. The banjo lesson, 1893. Now I remember this one because this one was iconic. Also, by the way, y'all, banjo came from Africa. Period. Another win for Black people. All right. In 1893, Tanner was asked to speak at the World's Columbian Exposition, Chicago. In his speech, The Negro in American Art, Tanner claimed that Negro artists were not inferior, as he should have. Tanner would have seen Edmonia Lewis. Remember, she was the sculptor who was obsessed with neoclassical style. Okay. Cleopatra at the exposition. During this time, Tanner began work on the banjo player. Inspired by the short story Uncle Tim's Compromise on Christmas. The grandfather has one thing of value, a banjo he will give to his grandson Christmas Day. And as you can see, he's teaching his grandson how to play the banjo like the African diasporic king he is, okay? Now, get into it. Tanner first created a photographic image to work from based on this passage from the story. The only thing in the world that the old man held as a proud possession was his banjo. It was the only thing the little boy counted on as a precious future property, and at all hours of the day or evening, old Tim could be seen sitting before the cabin, his arm around the boy who stood between his knees, while with his eyes closed, he ran his withered fingers over the strings, picking out the tunes best recalled for the stories of older days. Okay. The banjo lesson is about history and the values of teaching, sharing, and continuous traditions. Oh my gosh, I know I'm sounding way too positive, y'all, but like, I'm trying to hype this shit up. Anyways, like I said, history of the banjo. Banjo comes from Africa, okay? Specifically Senegambia and Mbanza. All right. So, anywho, the first white banjo player was Joel Sweeney, okay? We're not really gonna talk about him because he's not really important. Sorry, not sorry. It's just, he's white man, so can't do it. Anyways, minstrel performance. So now this is really important, kind of. Because it was the most important vehicle for popularizing African American music in the beginning in the 1830s. Okay. Now, academic realism. You have to pause to read this because we're going on 8 minutes. But yeah, you can look at this and read it aloud. All right, we're moving on. All right, pause this. All right. All right, so we have The Thankful Poor, Spinning by Firelight. Remember what these images look like, y'all. Come on now. When we do the IDs, y'all got to be able to pull these images out, all right? So The Thankful Poor is the one on the left. The Spinning by the Firelight is the one on the right, all right? Get it correct. All right, hold on. Let's go back up to the banjo lesson. This one's the banjo lesson, okay? Y'all know what this is. Y'all know what it is. We got the Young Sabbath Maker. All right. Okay. He was a painter of biblical themes. Shit. When Tanner returned to Paris, however, he made the decision to focus on the depiction of faith. Okay, let's see these pictures. Now, you see what these things are. Daniel in the lion's den. Okay, that's the one on the left. All right. And this other one, this is about some inquisitor, but I don't really care about that one. Sorry. The Raising of Lazarus. Now, this one's the shit, okay? Now, pay attention to the diagonal lines, y'all. The raising of Lazarus. Okay, the raising. Hallelujah, FM. All right, that's the first video.